It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. The Rugged Individualist, myself included, like there's this weird line of pride that comes from running a home service business, running any business, right? And I don't want to throw this down as a bad thing, because pride tends to be the one thing that actually motivates us the most, right? Doing hard things and overcoming them. And I would argue that there's a lot of the talk of like, well, what's wrong with kids these days and blah, blah, blah. And I think one of the risks our society has, and I don't want to get like political or religious or anything like that, but just a quick like side statement. One of the challenges our society has we're getting to this point where we're taking pride away from people because we're giving so much stuff. And if people don't overcome hard things, they don't have pride. And if you don't have pride, you get depressed and you're not motivated. So like the less you give people, the more they overcome hard things, the more pride they have, the more happier they are because they did hard things. And so we kind of like we're taking some of the joy away by like making things almost too easy in some cases. So the rugged individualist, that has to do all the things is addicted to pride, and they get so much damn happiness out of doing hard things and overcoming hard things that they also forget to grow their business and help as many people as possible and get to the next hard thing. It took me 2 years to hire an admin. Like we financially could have afforded it, but I didn't feel like I deserved an admin because I should be checking my own emails and I should be scheduling my own stuff, because a $3 million business isn't big enough to afford an admin. And I'm just Dan and I don't deserve an admin because that's for hoity-toity people, so on and so forth. Then I realized like, well, I'm just being a piece of shit rugged individualist. I'm not actually helping as many people as I possibly could, because if I had an admin and I didn't spend an hour in a day deleting emails, hold on, just slide that in from over here. I went from a beer to a cigar. Doesn't get much better than that. I could knock somebody out with this case too. I'm gonna be out in 4 minutes and enjoy this with you guys. I better be careful. I can't believe she gave me something made of glass. That's on her. That is on her. Business, bourbon, and bullshit. The bullshit is about to start here. Hence, you can probably tell where the name bookkeeping, beer, and BS came from, since we have a mastermind called Business, Bourbon, and Bullshit. But anyway, the rugged individualist, myself included, tends to actually like, not that there's not a lot of pride out of doing things. Like I said, I don't want to discourage that. But there's a whole lot of pride in like leveling up by enabling somebody to take stuff off of your plate and delegating the right amount of stuff, like marketing to a marketing expert and insurance to an insurance expert. And Sean didn't jump on, or at least I didn't see him jump on. But recruiting to a recruiting expert versus feeling like you have to do all the things and wearing that as a badge of honor, when really you're just like handcuffing your business and doing less good for other people. Right. I'll stop my rant at that, because we got 3 minutes and I'm sure you guys have something to say.
Well, I think you're dead on point. I mean, look at it from a little bit of a different perspective. So you're talking about things that you can relinquish and being able to really understand where you're at in your business from a competitor side, right? So I did dedicate my life to insurance. I appreciate the plugs and you calling me the best. And to be honest with you, at 29 years of age, I'm 36 now, I would have told you I am the best. I worked hard for it. I deserve to be called the best. And I promise I can do a better job than anybody. But in reality, there's a lot of good professionals out there, just like we know there's a lot of not good professionals out there. And what it comes down to is asking the right questions, finding out what's best for your business, making sure people are credible and can back up what they say they're going to do. Because everybody says a lot, right? But not everybody executes on what they say they're going to do, right? And so when I look at it from that perspective, I think to myself, okay, if I'm running a business or I'm working with someone that's running a business, at the end of the day, if you need to get away from that rugged individual persona and you need to be able to understand what you're doing, you need to ask the right questions. You need to do the research and you need to get the right people in, whether it's recruiting, whether it's marketing, whether it's bookkeeping, whether it's insurance. You need to make sure that you're asking the right people. At the end of the day, I'm not the only person that does insurance. Nathan isn't the only person that does marketing, and Dan's not the only person that does bookkeeping. But someone might be working with somebody that just isn't doing their business any favors. And so I think the key when you have that persona that you're talking about, Dan, is being able to take a step back and say, how do I make my business better? More importantly, how do I get myself around the right people, and what are the right questions to ask? And that really might be one of the things that we want to dig in on this show, is to say, how do you know what the right things to ask are? How do you create credibility within a certain arena or a certain industry to know that you're doing the right things for your business? Because that's how you get away from that persona that you're talking about, is being well educated in finding the people that you can trust to move forward.
Mm-hmm. I want to jump on that for just a second while we have one more minute, which is I really buy into this rugged individualist concept. And I sort of constantly have to, as a guy who claims to be second, have to go and like punch this in the mouth all the time. Like, right. No, I'm literally here so that you don't have to do this, right? Like, other people exist and want to exist in the positions of letting you go do what you're really great at. But the only way you can do what you're great at and that I can do what I'm great at is for you to leave that the fuck alone and let me do it.
Right.
And so I also wanted to say this quickly. I totally believe in meaningful work, and I do, right? Like the pride you were talking about from meaningful work. But you also sort of like, it's not necessarily saying there's an issue of someone giving you a leg up, right? Like if someone gives you a favor, if someone does you a favor, or if someone just gives you something, I don't want to look at that as negative, like, cool, but what is on you, whether you're starting from literal nothing or whether someone gives you the whole world, is whether you go take on the next challenge. Mm-hmm. And that, so you don't have to give up your rugged individualism or pride, but it is about like seeking out that meaningful work, whether someone gave you a leg up or is doing you a favor or not. And so to take away that being like, oh, there's this negative concept around like giving too much. Well, you know, like, are we going to take away their pride? But then in the same breath being like, but you have to leave and delegate and give up. So like, hold on. I completely agree with you, but I want to get to that root stigma, which might be what is on you is taking on that next challenge for you. And the next challenge might be your first delegation thing. Mm-hmm. But whether someone gave you a leg up or not, it's always going to come back to you taking on the next challenge, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, there's something to be said about staying in your comfort zone and continuing to solve the problems you've already solved.
Right.
And realistically, you need to be moving to the next problem. And once you've figured out how to solve this problem, you can build a process around it. Or if you're like me and you can't build processes because you're too ADD, you got to find somebody that can help build the process. And then you can go on to the next thing.